Hello and welcome to a very exciting weekend of action. We're going to try and point you in the direction of a few winners with the Punters guide. We've got Joel alongside us as always, and Frankie. They're in a very special place right now because outside of your window is that fine green turf of Leopardstown ahead of the Dublin Racing Festival.
There is if I just look over there, I can see the course, and it's a shame. This is half an hour too early. I'm about to do a course walk. So I wish I could tell you exactly what it's like, but at current, yielding, as they say over here, good to
Yielding!
The ground. They always do a great job. I remember speaking to the groundswoman last year. They put a tremendous amount of effort into it, and it looks ready for action.
Because there's a bit of criticism in recent years, but hopefully we get the show. I love the show on the road, but obviously there's no withdrawals like we had a couple of seasons ago, Joel. But it just looks like a William Mullins benefit, doesn't it? Looking at the entries.
Does. Let's just hope they all run to the merits. And to be fair, Willie's not known for a lot of jiggery pokery, so that's what Irish needs right now. So no, do you know what? I'm probably as excited for the DRF than I have been about any meeting for a long time because all the good horses are over there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think there's 3 British train runners over the 2 days. So hopefully they do well. Otherwise, if they get battered, we got them in for a battering in 6 weeks at Cheltenham. But let's start at Sandown, shall we? We'll do the British action. Then we'll head to Leopardstown because we'll look at some of Sunday's racing as well. We'll start with you, Joel. I mean, we've got some great action this weekend. With the greatest respect, we probably don't start with the best race. There's only 6 go to post at 1:10. It's in front of the ITV cameras, though. It's a 2.5 mile novices hurdle.
And I looked at this straight away and thought, if I was just watching it at the weekend, I wouldn't have a bet on it because I'm looking at 13 races this weekend and going in depth. I think I might have one for you in here. So the glasses are coming on early. Hot Rod Lincoln for Harry Fry and Nick Schofield, your mate. If you look at that run at Hereford, pulled up just before Christmas on really, really bad ground. Lingfield, he was 5th, beating 30 lengths. Grevega was the winner that day. However, we look at Chepstow when he was 4th in November. Now, I got a bit ratings anarchy here. The first 3 in front of him, Knowsley Road, now rated 134. Gosh Posh, 117, and 120 for Imperial Storm. He's off 110. The 5th, 6th, and 7th have all won since, and the 5th and the 6th won first time out after this race. He's rated 110. I think he's thrown in here. Nick Schofield was talking about a podcast this week that he really fancies him. He's been back down from 10s. I think at time of recording, it's 15-2. And in a race where many people just overlook it, I think Hot Rod Lincoln is a really good start to your Saturday at Sandown.
Love it. Straight off the bat, in with a big fancy in the 110. Frankie,
see you next week.
Let's try and follow it up in the 145. Good other races. Dolos beat Farah Bamboo in it last year. They are back together again. Hopefully the dead 8 do go to post.
Yeah, it's a good little race, and they've called it the Dolos Handicap Chase, which there's a part of me that wants to just go, right, Dolos can go and win it again. I think he's won this race 3 times, is it now? As you mentioned, Farah Bamboo as well, another challenger. But the one that splits the 2 in the market, Red Rookie, catches my eye. The best this horse has achieved is winning only a Class 3 novice chase, but entered into the Arkle, it was around 80-1, and although falling at the last, I thought gave it a very fair crack all the way until the last. And then after a break, it's come back and finished 5th in that Chepstow race that Fugitive won, and our lad Phoenix Way that we can't stop talking about was 4th in as well. And after a long break,
staying on.
staying on. After a long break, I think it was a very fair run. And although this horse, as I said, hasn't raced in those top handicaps yet, he's certainly one on the incline, and that's the one you want to catch in a handicap. But for 138, I think he's got to be better than his mark, and I quite fancy him here. So Red Rookie for me at Sandown.
Well, into a secret, I'm very strong on him myself. You're right. He was running all right in that Arkle, wasn't he? 80-1.
Yeah.
Good run at Chepstow. Ran all right for a long way. Down 1/2 mile in trip. He's 3 from 3 right-handed when completed, including hurdles with at Sandown. He's been dropped £2 for that Chepstow run, where the form's working out. So yeah, really strong on Red Rookie in the 145. Right, back to you, Joel. Grade 1 action, the Scilly Isles novices chase. Not named after the Scilly Isles, named after a group of roundabouts near the track. They are a bit of trivia for you as well. The Irish, not content with the Dublin Racing Festival. You want to come over here and snare our Grade 1 prize at Sandown as well?
You texted us about this in the week. You said 2-1's a big price. You ain't getting 2-1 now. 7 from 7. Jerry Colom, Jordan Gainford takes them out. How many pages and notes do you want? I mean, it's there for everyone to see. Albert Bartlett Fav for last year, then had the setback, be adamantly chosen on Boxing Day. Kilcrook was back in third. In the beginner's chase that he ran in, he beat Braun. Braun came out and won Fairy House last week. Gordon has been saying on every TV show that he's a chaser in the making. Don't want to take him to Dublin Racing Festival and clash with Mighty Potter, who will get beat, by the way. More on that later. But Jerry Colom, I think it's a 5-star nap this weekend. It's nap material. I think you agree, I agree. And I don't know what Frankie's opinion is, but he ain't coming over here because it's expensive as well. I know Gordon's not short of a few quid, but I think there's now to beat. there's now to beat in there. I think the only one would be Thunder Rock, but he took pretty much every obstacle back with him from Cheltenham last time.
He did, yeah. That was in a grade 2 behind the real whacker. With a great respect to him, I wouldn't fancy him in any of the Dublin Racing Festival races this week. Jerry Colom, you would give a chance to. And I texted you guys in the week, didn't I? And I even think odds against is a bit of a gift, Frankie, here.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they're not coming over here for no reason. With the racing that's on this weekend, this is a well-targeted race. You know, they've thought about this to come here and win, haven't they? I mean, everyone's usually trying to win races, but your ears certainly prick when you catch one like this that looks like they've got this race in mind as one that they think they've got sewed up. Come over here, collect the prize money, and go home happy.
I think it's an Onus and Gordon bet here. If you can find us a race over the weekend that's not got 17 Willie Mullins horses in, put us in it. Put us in it.
Right, so that's the big race, the Grade 1 City Isles Novices Chase. I'm going to stick with you, Joel, because we've got a big handicap at 255 over 3 miles as well. I've got a sneaky feeling for one in here, but don't listen to me. You'll have done your research. What do you fancy in the 255?
He's a lovely master, don't you? He's been brilliant for Pipe. Your Pipe's having his best season, David Pipe. He's having his best season, and he's been doing it very, very quietly. I think he was off for like 4 weeks. He went to Barbados, so Martin must have taken over. That's why. Green Book for me. Look, that last run was pretty poor, but was off the back of a break, the wind up. He was a short price favourite and drifted out to 92-41, something like that. Won this last year, beating Beauport by half a length, something like that. This is the target. Won it off 130 last year. It's now 134. Weights and measures. He's got to be there or thereabouts. And you can give Kate up pretty much so many in here. It's not a strong bet. Fun bet on a Saturday afternoon. Venetia, get that bandwagon rolling because every time it starts, the wheels fall off again. Green Book, a little bit of each way. Bit of fun Saturday.
Follow up last year's win. I was quite sure on Coquelicot here. Think he'll make all. I don't think it's a much challenge for the pace either. And the second last time out behind Glimpse of Gala has been Frank with that one winning at Warwick. So he's only been put up a pound. I think he could have an easy time with Adelaide, she, I should say. She stays well. She's won here. I thought she was a decent bet around about 10s. One of the most difficult races when I looked through the card, though, was a 3:30, the Masters handicap chase. And that one goes to Frankie.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, good luck finding a winner in here. Two of interest, both double-figure prices, I think, at the time we're looking. Castle Robin for Charlie Longston team, another team that are in good form this season, particularly in staying handicap races like this. I always kind of take note of a horse that has been tried in a decent handicap. Something's gone wrong, and they haven't raced again until they've found another with a decent bit of prize money or a bit of competition. And this horse went off favourite or joint favourite, I think, at the November meeting at Cheltenham, was hampered and then pulled up. And they've decided to come straight here to what's a kind of similar sort of race. So that usually indicates that they think it at least has a fair handicap mark and a decent chance. So that's one to take note of, Castle Robin. And then one down the bottom, Larry for the Moors. He is a bit of an old boy, but he's gone round Sandown plenty of times. He's won round there twice before. Jamie takes back over from the claimer who rode last time, staying on into 6th at Kempton, which wasn't a bad run. This is slightly easier company. I don't think he's got the class to win this, and he is a bit old, but it's kind of one of those that you think might be in the mix at an each way price come the finish.
Yeah, Gary Moore got a good record as well, as you know, at Sandown. So Larry and Castle Robin, the two in the Masters for Frankie. Going to stick with you, Frankie, because he had to Wetherby as well for the Towton Novices Chase for some stays of the future 3 miles. Only 4 runners, but I know you're a big fan of Ballygriffin Cottage. You mentioned on the road to Cheltenham. His odds on here, just a case of his prep run for the Brown Advisory. I don't think he's in the not so 4 miler, is I think it's a 3 mile, the Brown Advisory prep run for that.
I think so, yeah. We spoke about him, didn't we, on the road to Cheltenham, and I fancy him at Cheltenham. To be honest, he deserves every chance there. I would be interested to see what the market does. I guess it depends. Well, I hope he wins, but the manner in which he wins here. If he's really, really impressive, then he will shorten up for Cheltenham, which is a bit of a shame because this looks a little bit of a freebie for me. I really do think he should go and win this easy enough. And yeah, as I said, all roads lead to Cheltenham for him, really. Let's just hope it's not another Protectorate case when he's not quite tuned up and the target is Cheltenham. But I think he's got the class to beat these lot. And given it's only his second Chase start, they will want to get a strong run into him and see him jump a fence and have him fit. So yeah, I think this is quite straightforward this weekend for Ballygriffin.
Yeah, Ballygriffin Cottage then in the Towton. Joel, you got your kilt on because I'll give you the 2 races at Musselburgh. As well, the longest race.
No one wants to see that.
No. The Edinburgh National, the longest race this weekend of 4 miles. Slipway looking for his 3rd national of the season. Captain Catterstock looking to go back to back. What did you like in this?
For you here, I think this might be an absolute certainty for you in this race. A lot of people call it the dog. That's the dog. We're talking the wolf. Now, right before you kick me off. Won for 3 years. Adrian Heskin always rides this horse, and it always looks like a non-trier. It's held up like Jamie Spencer on the flat, exaggerated. Was second in this last year, beaten 3/4 of a length off 136. He's now 135, and I think the key for me is Paddy Brennan. As we know, Paddy Brennan is a terrific jockey as it is, but I really do like him on these hold-up horses. Very Timmy Murphy, very Paul Carberry. And just to get him settled, might do the trick, might be not. Beating 3/4 of a length, like I say, of 136 last year, 135. And I think to me, the key is Paddy Brennan. So Ollie Murphy doing it all, mopping up in bumpers, International. What's your face for?
Well, no, I was just looking. No, it's fair.
Sorry, you can't help it. It's what I was born with.
Hey, but I'm bumped.
No, you're saying it like this. I'm like,
no, I was actually trying to think. I was trying to think when you said Paddy Brennan's on it. Where is Adrian Eskin? Of course, he's riding Thunder Rock. So I was just looking. That's what I was doing.
I'll be honest with you. I'd have stayed at home. Adrian, I thought was shaved off.
Right, from the 4 mile chase, the 2 mile hurdle, and the Scottish County hurdle. 10 set to go to post here. Last year's winner, Socialist Agenda, right down the bottom. A lot of horses. Trying to go back to back with his last year, back targeted at the events this weekend. What did you like in the Scottish County, Joel?
Nayati for me, for Donald McCain. Beats that horse that the kid was on. Is it Collingham? Who's also in this race. Yeah. Beaten by 2 lengths. If you put a line through, and I hate that expression, you hear it so many times, probably like racing cliche, but put a line through that Sandown run diagram, line through that. I don't see any reason to reverse the places that day. You've got champion jockey. A lot of people like Brian Hughes. A lot of people don't like Brian Hughes versus the £10 conditional. I normally would go for a £10 conditional, taking that weight off. But I think this horse has got a ton in hand. Only won by 2, but I watched it back last night, and it was quite sneaky. And of course, Brian would have had the option. There has been money for it, as there was last time. Nayati for McCain and the champion jockey Brian Hughes.
Well, we are then. That's Muscle Rock. So that's the UK action wrapped up as well. But now we get into the serious stuff. Obviously, we had trials over here this last week. Now it's the Irish version. But to be fair, it's a good festival in its own right. Perfectly timed ahead of Cheltenham. We're going to go through 8 of the races, the grade ones, 4 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. Frankie is there. So we'll start with you, Frankie. In the 120 on Saturday, the 2 mile 6 novice, one of only 3 British entries in here. We've all been caught. Horse that we've spoken about on the road to Cheltenham a few times, including last week, of course. Interestingly going over here, well worth a shot at the prize, but bumping into Gordon Elliott and Willie Mullins' battalions. Interesting to see how he gets on. There's also a good word for this favourite Goodlander. I know he's quite fancy for the Ballymore. He's quite a short price favourite for Barry Connell.
Yeah, I think we'd be doing the Twistons a disservice if we didn't fancy this horse. I think so many people could look at an Irish card, particularly the DRF, and see an English runner and not even look at it, not even give it a chance. Just go, no, that we're not going to take it. We'll look at Willie's instead. Excuse the expression.
Oh yeah. Always looking at Willie's instead. A little bit like, I suppose, a little bit like looking at a Stayers Chase and seeing a French thing at 33-1 and going, this is no good.
Exactly that, Joe. So
what are you looking at? You looking at Willie's, or you?
No, I'm not. I'm looking at We've All Been Caught. I'm looking at We've All Been Caught.
So we've all been caught looking at Willie's.
There we go. We'll get there in the end. I think we have to fancy this horse. We have to. I mean, I think we all put up New Year's Day, didn't we? We were all in agreement that Sam gave it absolutely everything he could to get that horse up when Rock My Way challenged, because he definitely didn't want to be beaten that day, knowing how much they like this horse at home. Rock My Way and We've All Been Caught went 15 or so lengths clear, and then Rock My Way's come out and stayed on nicely and won at Cheltenham on Trials Day, which backs up that form. So I think, given how much they like it at home, given how much this horse should keep improving, he's a big horse and he's definitely miles off the finish article. We know he'll stay. He's got the form with Rock My Way. We have to stick with the English here, in my opinion.
Sticking with the English then. We've All Been Caught. Hopefully we can beat them at their own game this weekend. What about the spring juvenile hurdle, Joel, this time? See, all the talk about Lossiemouth. Interesting that Woody Mullins hasn't declared Blood Destiny. I mean, he's still got 6 of the 8, so it looks like this prize is heading back to him. Is it with Lossiemouth?
Well, I was hoping that Blood Destiny would run, because I've got a theory on this. Now, look, Lossiemouth, we won't spend too much time on this. Lossiemouth wins. I think it's going to be a distance bet. Nothing will want to get close to it, and nothing will be able to get close to her. She's so good. However, the price will shorten for Cheltenham, and then we all lump on Blood Destiny at Cheltenham, because I think Lossiemouth will do fantastically in the island. But when it comes to Cheltenham, I think I really, really, really strongly fancy Blood Destiny to turn her over at Cheltenham. Not so much destroy her, as Frankie would say, but to turn her over. So hopefully Blood Destiny will drift out and we'll get a few more quid on that. That's just my opinion. But it's a distance bet. It's one to watch. Now I'll get close to her.
I want to watch and maybe thinking about something else for the Triumph instead. Interesting little plot and opinion there from Joel. Back to you, Frankie. The Irish Arkle, 8 stand their ground. This could be an absolute belter. Yes, Willie's got 5 in it, but they're all, well, they'd be stable star in any other stable, wouldn't they? Appreciate It, Dysart, Dynamo, El Fabiolo. Savoie, unconsidered, is a grade 1 winner. We've got Banbridge, who I know that we like as well. Gordon Saddlesfield, or this is not only a great race, it'll also decide the pecking order to come over and challenge John Bomb.
It will, yeah. I'm a bit frustrated that I'm sticking with the favourite in Appreciate It, because as you go through this card on the Saturday, you've got Lossiemouth, Appreciate It, Galloping de Champs, you've got, shorty after shorty that should go and win. Even on the Sunday, there's a couple of 1 to 3 or something like that now. But I don't know why everyone's getting so carried away with this horse needing to be stepped up in trip, or being the one that might be stepped up in trip. Maybe because it had an entry for the festival. But for me, it's a Supreme Novice winner, Appreciate It. They ran it in the Champion Hurdle after however many days off. It's come back and raced over fences twice over 2 miles. It's got speed. It can jump a fence. For me, it's your most likely winner out of what? The Mullins lot here. Dysart and El Fabiolo both look talented, but they're probably have a little bit more to learn than Appreciate It. He looks the right favourite for me. All the vibes out of Mullins' camp that we've seen on socials and in interviews are that he's the top dog. That doesn't always translate to the track, I know, but as I said, that 2 mile form, that speed, the fact he's had 2 chase starts and they've both gone well, he's the right fav for me. So I think he's the one they got to beat.
No. Out of all the shorties this weekend, 2 of them are going to get beat, and I think Appreciate It will be. Looking back last night, I think Top Bandit, the ill-fated Top Bandit, was beaten 7 lengths. I think it was staying on, and I know Appreciate It was 5 to 1 on that day, but I think it would have been a lot closer than the 7 lengths, and I think Top Bandit would have been there. And then you look at the Nace run, and of course Top Bandit fatally fell. So Appreciate It just had to pop round a few, won by 21 lengths, didn't do a lot. That's the 2 runs here. I look down this, and everything is dragging me back to Banbridge. Everything is dragging me back to Banbridge. Joey O'Brien. Hello, Joseph. I really like that horse. I think if appreciated was a good thing, 7-4, and like the prices would have. You know, how many Mullins horses are in this race? You know, if this was the good thing of good things, this would be odds on.
Tommy Oscar turned over Boot Hill as well, didn't he, the other day?
Yeah.
Beat easily at Cheltenham. That was a nice form boost there.
So I like that, and at 7-1 versus 7-4, I would open this out this morning. Expect to appreciate it to be 4-6. Everyone's on it. You know, 80% of the runners are Mullins. So come on, Joseph.
Yeah,
it's a fair point in that.
No,
if there was one they fancied, and considering that what's he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you would expect to see a bit of a move, wouldn't you? If there was just one that they strongly fancied, which is fair, but.
Yeah, I would. That's what I thought. I mean, I don't know if you remember, maybe 15 years ago, there was a race just with one trainer. Was it all the Stone Crabs horses on the flat on the all weather? And there was only one that was fancied, and I think it was like fifth favourite or something, and that happened to win. And I know it's very different, and you know, Willie's very straight, but
and in a Grade 1.
Yeah. Okay, Banbridge.
No, I mean it's very competitive, isn't it? It's got to be one of the most competitive of the weekend.
Yeah. It's good race.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
I tell you what, it'll have a big shake up for the Cheltenham markets as well, as will the Irish Gold Cup if Galopin Des Champs doesn't win. Frankie, you mentioned it a little earlier. Looks like you sided with him as well. But you know, I know he's won a John Durkan, but this is the acid test. His first over 3 miles.
It is, but God, I was looking at this last night. Since he's gone over fences, he's won by 22 lengths, 9 lengths, was 12 clear of Bob Ollinger when falling. So that he probably would have been 15, 20 lengths, 18 clear of Master McShee, 13 clear of Fakir Dudery. It's not like he's had a hard job so far beating top class horses. And, you know, the way that he travels, the way that he jumps, he's so slick. I really don't think that there's a question about 3 miles. And he is very short, but he looks a different class to nearly everything that he's raced against so far. And I think it'll be the same story. So it's not really one to have a bet, that's for sure. For your £1.50 each way, though, at the opposite end of the market, Franco de Port stayed on into 4th in the Savills Chase. I think is worth just, you know, a quid each way.
A euro, man. You're an island, a euro.
A euro each way. He clattered the second last.
No, he's not. He's a nice fella, really.
And then stayed on into 4th. You know, look, if 50 to 1 shot finishes out the back of the telly, you're not bothered. But if you get to cheer him home into a place, then happy days. But I think it's a case of Galopin Des Champs wins this.
Galopin Des Champs, and of course, he is already the favourite for the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Well, that's Saturday. Quick look at Sunday. 4 races look forward to their Grade 1s as well. The Novice Chase, 2 mile 5. You said earlier on, Joel, Mighty Potter gets beat. Only 6 go to post. Again, Willie Mullins with all the dangers to the favourite. What wins this 140 on Sunday?
Burley, I think. You know, massive step up in trip. That good horse in France. And as you know now, I've started watching the French replays. You know, Gold Tweet, 33 to 1. Beating a cigarette paper twice in Grade 1s over there. So it came over here. Over to where Frankie is now. That Punterstown second to Classical Dream, the Stayers Erdl was fairly decent. Fairy House on New Year's Day, it was a 1-4 shot, yeah. And people say don't really learn a lot there. Won by 15 lengths and made one small mistake. I think this will get a pace to run at. It will stay. I think Darrell is bang up for it. Well, you would be, wouldn't you? Grade 1 going over to Ireland, DRF. I just think I have, under pressure, people will probably throw stuff at me. Mighty Potter for me. I think the jumping under pressure is an issue for me. Not massive. 13 to 8. I think it will go off a lot shorter. I would be much, much happier with James de Burley. I think exactly what this horse needs is a.
Do you think if he won this, he would go to the Turners 2.5?
Yes,
or
yes,
the Brown?
yes. going to turn.
I think he would.
Yeah. Well, he said, I hope so. That's where his money is. The 2 mile 5 over last time, I was really impressed. And again, you've got to look at the race, and you've got to, imagine there was some opposition in that race. Only one small mistake. I genuinely think this will get something to run at. Mighty Potter's jumping may not hold up, but may go on and win. But it's a game of opinions, and again, it's a price play. There's not a lot in it. We talked about Edward Stone and T'other Horse with £6 in between them. I don't think there's a lot in between them. Officially, there is, but James de Burley, I think it's a really, really good price play bet this weekend.
We are then, yeah. James de Burley for Joel. Right, Frankie, the Dublin Chase, 2:10 on Sunday. I think this is really interesting that Paul Townend rides Blue Lord and Daryl Jacob rides Go Royale. Bearing in mind, you'd imagine Paul Townend would have been riding an Ergomen in the Champion Chase. Daryl Jacob retained by the owners. As Willie or Paul pulled rank here with Blue Lord, is that going to be his choice at Cheltenham? Look, he's long odds on favourite for this weekend. Well, let's look ahead to thinking about the Champion Chase. How does that have repercussions regarding Ergomen and Blue Lord and Willie's the order of Willie's runners in that contest?
It's a fair point. And maybe they are using it as an option. The decision might not have been made the decision won't have been made, but they might use this race to allow Paul to have a bigger input on that decision. So the fact that he does ride Blue Lord and has just ridden an Ergomen and knows both horses gives him the chance to make the best choice come Cheltenham. So yeah, it is interesting, and it's one of those he should go and win this. 2-7 or whatever it is. The manner in which he wins it is what people will be paying attention to, and certainly the market will be for Cheltenham as well. But yeah, I mean that Champion Chase is a puzzle, isn't it? Really, and come the day, what Paul Townend rides will certainly have a big influence.
It was Paul Townend, wasn't it? Did he get? I think there was a spare ride going at Cheltenham a few years ago, and I think they gave it to either Danny or Paddy Mullins. And Paul Townend just got in his car and did one because he was so seized off with it. So there's, I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. He's got that in him. But I thought he'd pull rank. The jockey book is really interesting. Really, I like it because it's spicing it up a little bit.
What is it, Blue Lord, for you, Frankie, for this weekend?
To win this, yeah. To win this. Not really a race for talking, is it? It's clues for Cheltenham, this one for me.
It is. Right, one race that is for talking is the Champion Hurdle. Joel, I'll come to Frankie as well if you've got an opinion on this, because it is a great race. It's the 1-2 from the race over Christmas, State Man and Vauban. And then we've just thrown in the added extra of Honeysuckle back to try and retain her crown here, obviously after her first defeat ever, Joel, last time out.
Yeah, and it's the heart and head thing here. I got it down to obviously a 3-horse race on paper. State Man beat Vauban 4 lengths easily end of December, so let's put a line through Vauban. You don't just go from being a wonder mare to being really crap overnight. And look, only beaten 2.5, 2 3/4 lengths by Tipu and Classical Dream. First start, I'd stick with Honeysuckle, and I presume Honeysuckle will be tuned to the second for this. Because what happens if Honeysuckle gets pulled up? You're going to run the Champion Hurdle. All of a sudden, the mares isn't an option now. So this is do or die day, isn't it, really, to put it graphically? And that's nobody actually does that. But Honeysuckle, tuned up, the State Man either way. He'll go off and do his thing. But Honeysuckle wins this, shortens the Champion Hurdle, and then it just gets more exciting for Cheltenham, doesn't it? And as Frankie would say again, Connie Hill would go and destroy her. But it sets it up a little bit. You just want to see Honeysuckle win. I know they say she runs well, but I don't think she'll run well. It's either she's going to win and win well or be pulled up. So Honeysuckle.
I mean, you're there. I'm guessing you're going to want Honeysuckle to win just to soak that atmosphere and the reaction she will get.
Yeah, I agree with Joel in that I can't have Vauban turning the tables with State Man. So I do think it is a race between State Man and Honeysuckle. And I fancy State Man, but like you said, if Honeysuckle and Rachel come back into that one as enclosure, then everybody here will be cheering, whether you bet against her or not. I imagine. For me, it's not a case of Honeysuckle on the decline. It's not a case of she's gotten beat, she's not what she used to be, and yada yada. That lots of people are quick to write her off, and she can't go and win races anymore. It's not that at all. It's that State Man looks incredibly good. And even if you'd have rewinded a year ago and State Man was where he is now versus Honeysuckle a year ago, I think we would have been looking at a similar picture. I think State Man is turning into a really, really exciting horse. The way that he put Sharjah to bed, I know was in third, Wallbound was second, but Sharjah in behind it in third was really of note. Having a look at how Sharjah's finished behind Honeysuckle even in other starts. I think State Man is a real smart horse, and as I said, it's not the Honeysuckle on the decline. It's just that youngster coming up is pretty good.
Yeah, it is some race. It's great how it is set out as well. But I imagine I was fortunate enough to be there when AP McCoy won the Hennessy, I think it was. They went on Carlingford Lock on his last rides in Ireland, or his last ride at Leopardstown. That was incredible. So I can only imagine what it'd be like should Honeysuckle win.
I think I'll have a tenner myself on Honeysuckle. Just to cheer him.
Are you going to do what the Japanese do when all the big horses run and they never claim it, do they? It's always like 100 to 1 on and they frame it. Imagine being over there. This is brilliant. All this money coming in, nobody wants it. Oh, we frame it. Yeah, I'll be straight down there getting me £1.20 back.
Right, stay with you, Frankie. I know you're a big Facile Vega fan. Does he win the 340 en route to the Supreme?
Yes, he does, and he should. The one I'm looking at, though, is High Definition that we spoke about. Again, not to take away from DRF, but some of these short prices, as we mentioned, Galloping, Blue Lord, Facile Vega, they're too short to be having a bet. So you're looking at how the market might affect Cheltenham. High Definition, I think, if he's still double figures, which I think he is for the Supreme, worth a little each way bet in the case that he actually runs really well here and gets close to Facile Vega and will go into single figures for Cheltenham. So that's the horse I'm looking at. And of course, Facile Vega, I want to just see him win it. And what's most exciting, I think, about Sunday is that Facile Vega, I still don't think we've seen the best of him. I still don't think he's maybe been 100% because he hasn't needed to be. Whereas I think they will want him tuned up for this. They will want him to run a true race. And this is that, like we mentioned, that springboard onto Cheltenham. So I think we're going to really see the best of him this weekend, which is exciting. So Facile Vega, probably not one for a bet, but should win, and High Definition one to keep an eye on. Because he's going to have to learn how to take his hurdles at top speed. And there's no better race to do it in than this. So a learning curve and hopefully a good run from High Definition.
Cool. Right. Brilliant. Then that's the 16 races we've looked at, isn't it? Across the weekend. So is there any other business? Joel, come to you first in the races that Frankie's looked at. Is there anything that you stood out for you or anything else elsewhere before we get you?
No, I think with Frankie being there to the very end on Sunday, the 4:10 for you. Look out for a JP second string. We've mentioned it many times. His day will come. Away with the Sea for Joseph O'Brien. Aidan Kelly takes off the £7. Bare form figures, a 6 fell 6, pulled up nowhere. The JP first string for Mouse Morris, Get My Drift, is the favourite. I've been looking at this one for a long while. It will pop up, and it's only 6 to 1 with those form figures. That's one for Frankie, if you're having to play at the weekend. Apart from that, I agree. I think all the shorties should win, apart from Appreciate It. All the odds-on shots should win. I can't go against them. Appreciate It, I don't fancy, and Mighty Poppy, I don't fancy. But I will be having my short price Frankie special on the accumulator at the weekend.
Away with the Sea's interest. He's another runner that won the race 12 months ago going. So there's loads of them this weekend. Frankie, anything else on Joel's races that caught your eye you'd like to discuss or chat about?
2 handicaps I've had a quick look at on Saturday. I haven't dived too deep into them. I'll probably do what Joel does with a glass of red and start scribbling on pieces of paper tonight. But one in the 340 that I think got to catch a ride. Blue Sari, JP, Paul Townend rides it. Had a chase marker 150. Went hurdling over 2 miles behind Gaelic Warrior last time, which clearly wasn't his bag, but just get him a run over 2 miles over hurdles and then comes here. The trip's a slight question, but given a marker 136 and considering his chasing talents on his day, and Paul Townend rides JP Holmes, that is definitely one of interest in the 340 handicap hurdle. And then the 410, the one after Grange Walk, was another of those that the last two times has maybe been given a little bit too much to do, and has had to come from quite far back, finish 7th and then finish 4th last time out. Liam Quillen takes 5 off, which is a further 2 from the claimer that rode at the time before. I think it's one round Leopardstown, or at least race round here enough times before, and another that could be well handicapped at double figures. So that's Grange Walk in the 410.
Cool. Couple against the field then at Leopardstown. Right. Back to you, Frankie. Enjoy Leopardstown, but you can't leave us without giving us your best bet of the weekend.
I've been waiting to do this.
Yeah. Oh, lossy mouth. Oh. to win by over half a length.
I've been waiting to do this because I think Mighty Potter won't be beat.
Ooh.
I didn't say anything at the time, but I thought we'll leave it because I think that is Napo. Like, that is his distance. It's his bag. He wins this. He goes to the Turners.
Get the helmet on.
I'm happy to make it exciting and go against Joel here with a nap against his strong opinion of it being beat. I think Mighty Potter is one of Gordon's best, and they will want to come here and win this.
Match bet.
We'll both lose or dead heat for third.
Yeah, love it. It's all about opinions. We did it. I was trying to think, what was it last week or the week before when you went against each other? One was strongly fancied. I can't remember what horse it was. There's one that you were dead against, Joel, that Frankie really liked. I can't remember what it was. It was another favourite. Anyway, what's your best bet of the weekend?
Well, as I was sitting down last night with a bottle of red, making notes, I'm going to Edinburgh National, and it's obviously a prize. The dog, as many people call it, it's the Wolf, Ollie Murphy. Second last year, beaten 3/4 of a length off 136. This year, it's off 135. But I think the jockey upgrade to Paddy Brennan is worth £3 or £4, and it's the target again. And I think it's a very, very strong bet. If you want to go each way, please yourself, not my money. But I'll be 100% going with the Wolf, and the next best will be James de Burley.
Just to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. That is one busy weekend ahead. We've got 16 races reviewed. On Monday, our Road to Cheltenham show will be in this very studio where I am now with both of these guys. Frankie's flying in from town. Joel is going to get the train over here as well. We'll be right in the studio. We'll be going head to head again because Leeds and Manchester United play each other twice in the next week as well. Frankie, a Leeds fan, Joel, a United fan. So we're going to discuss that as well. Head to head with Mighty Potter. The War of the Roses next week as well. These boys will be in the studio. Join us for the Road to Cheltenham next week. Frankie, enjoy Leopardstown. Joel, enjoy your bottle of red. Enjoy the weekend's racing, whatever you're back in the best of luck.